PlayStation has one chance to not ruin Wolverine, and I know that sounds dramatic, but with this game, dramatic is the correct setting because Wolverine is not Spider-Man. He is not a clean superhero. He is not supposed to politely punch enemies, do a cute flip, and then leave them gently unconscious like they just finished a yoga class. This is Logan, this is claws, this is rage, this is healing through pain and walking straight into danger, like the man has absolutely no respect for hospital bills. And now that PlayStation has confirmed a fresh state of play with a closer look at Marvel's Wolverine, the pressure is massive because fans are not asking for another good superhero game. They are asking for the Wolverine fantasy, and that fantasy is simple. Brutal combat, dark storytelling, enemies who actually look afraid, and gameplay that makes you feel like a living weapon. So today, let's talk about why Marvel's Wolverine might be one of PlayStation's most important games of 2026, why Insomniac has a massive challenge ahead, and why making this game too safe could be the fastest way to kill the hype. This is Gaming Demon, and let's get into it. So first, let's get the facts straight. Marvel's Wolverine is coming to PS5 on September 15th. Insomniac is developing it, the same studio behind Marvel's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. And that is both exciting and slightly terrifying, because Insomniac knows how to make smooth superhero gameplay. They know animation, they know set pieces, they know how to make a character feel powerful. But Wolverine is a completely different beast. Spider-Man is speed, movement, style, and responsibility. Wolverine is pain, rage, survival, and violence. Spider-Man swings above the city. Wolverine walks into a room and turns it into a workplace safety investigation. And that is where the challenge begins. If Insomniac treats Wolverine like Spider-Man with claws, the game could feel wrong immediately. Because Wolverine does not need to feel elegant. He needs to feel heavy. He needs to feel savage. When he hits someone, it should not feel like a friendly combo counter. It should feel like the enemy made a life mistake. The good news is, PlayStation and Marvel are already using the right language around this game. They are not selling this as a bright, cheerful superhero adventure. They are talking about brutal claw combat, violent rage, relentless determination, and Logan cutting through the mystery of his past. That matters. Because tone is everything here. A Wolverine game needs to be dark without becoming boring, violent without becoming stupid, emotional without turning Logan into a sad man walking slowly for 8 hours while whispering about trauma. There has to be balance, and that balance is hard, because if the game is just blood and gore, it becomes shallow. But if it pulls back too much, fans will instantly say, "Yep, they made him safe." And that is the nightmare. Nobody wants a Wolverine game where enemies get lightly tapped and fall over like they slipped on a wet Greg's floor. We want claws. We want impact. We want broken armor. We want healing factor moments where Logan takes damage and just keeps moving forward. The fantasy is not just, I am strong. The fantasy is, you cannot stop me. And this is where the combat has to carry the entire game. Because, let's be honest, people are not clicking on Wolverine gameplay to see crafting menus. Nobody is saying, bro, I hope Wolverine has a beautiful herb collection system. No, people want to see how the claws feel. The combat needs to be fast, but not floaty. Heavy, but not slow. Aggressive, but not messy. Every fight should feel like Logan is losing control just enough to be dangerous, but still controlled enough that the player feels skilled. That is the sweet spot. Imagine enemies surrounding you. One guy has a gun. One guy has heavy armor, one guy is trying to flank you, and instead of just dodging around like a polite ninja, Logan tanks damage, closes distance, breaks through armor, heals, and punishes anyone stupid enough to stay close. That is the difference. Spider-Man avoids damage because he is agile. Wolverine survives damage because he is Wolverine. That needs to change how the whole game feels. Actually, I want you to answer this in the comments right now. Should Marvel's Wolverine go full brutal, or should PlayStation keep it slightly safer so more people can play it? Because this is the real debate. If they make it too violent, some people complain. If they make it too clean, Wolverine fans riot. So pick a side, team brutal or team safe. Now let's talk story. This is where Wolverine could become more than just a cool action game. Logan's past is messy. Weapon X, memory loss, experiments, regret, violence, people he has hurt, people who used him, people he could not save. That is powerful material. And if Insomniac handles it properly, this could hit way harder than people expect. Because Wolverine is not interesting just because he has claws. He is interesting because he is a weapon who does not want to be only a weapon. That inner conflict is the entire character. He wants peace, but violence follows him. He wants answers, but the truth usually hurts. He wants control, but rage is always right there under the skin. That is the part the game has to capture. Not just the cool, surface-level version of Wolverine, not just Angry Man says bub and stabs things. We need the broken man underneath. The guy who acts like he does not care, but clearly cares too much. That is what can make this game special. Locations also sound promising. We already know the game is dealing with places like Madripoor, Canada, and Tokyo. That gives the game a strong, global thriller vibe. And that is smart. Because Wolverine should not feel trapped in one clean superhero city. He should be moving through bars, snowy wilderness, dirty backstreets, secret facilities, and places where everyone looks suspicious. Madripoor especially is perfect. It has that criminal underworld energy, the kind of place where Logan can walk into a bar, and 5 seconds later, furniture is flying, someone is screaming, and the bartender is already calculating repair costs. Canada gives you the cold, lonely survival side. Tokyo gives you neon, speed, tight streets, and style. If Insomniac uses these locations properly, the game could have real variety, not just visually, but emotionally. One mission could feel like a brutal bar fight. Another could feel like a survival hunt. Another could be a high-speed chase through narrow streets. That is how you stop the game from becoming repetitive. Here is my biggest worry. Insomniac games are incredibly polished, but sometimes they can feel too safe, too smooth, too clean, too designed, and Wolverine cannot feel like that. Wolverine needs rough edges. Not broken gameplay, not bugs. I mean personality. The game needs to feel dangerous. It needs moments where you think, okay, that was actually nasty. It needs enemies that do not just exist as combo food. It needs boss fights that feel personal. Omega Red cannot just be a big health bar with red attacks. Mystique cannot just be a cutscene twist. The Reavers cannot just be random soldiers with metal bits glued on. These characters and enemies need presence. They need to make Logan's world feel hostile. Because if the world does not feel dangerous, Wolverine does not feel necessary. That is the whole point. So yes, Marvel's Wolverine could be massive. It could be PlayStation's next monster exclusive. It could be the game that proves Insomniac can do more than Spider-Man. But only if it commits. Commit to the brutality, commit to the darker tone. Commit to Logan being messy, angry, damaged, and terrifying. Because if this game plays it too safe, fans will notice immediately. Wolverine does not need to be the cleanest superhero game ever made. He needs to be the most dangerous. And on June 2nd, when PlayStation shows us more, we are going to find out whether Insomniac truly understands that. So now I'm asking you, are you hyped for Marvel's Wolverine, or are you worried PlayStation will make it too safe? Drop your take in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more gaming breakdowns. This is Gaming Demon, signing off.